Charles is a 50-year-old Korean descent, married with three. He's married with three children. He's the youngest of his family and has two elder sisters. As a child growing up, he had a stern father who would beat him when he came back home from drinking. But his mother loved him a lot. Charles did well in school, got into a good university, studied politics, diplomacy, and law. He married his college sweetheart after getting a job. He didn't want to be like his father, so he was a good father to his three children. 14 years ago, he moved his companies overseas and lived in Europe ever since. Charles appears to be a passionate and extroverted man at first glance. He's good at storytelling and has an upfront manner. However, he has been losing interest in his life for many years. He still has qualities like love, justice, loyalty, justice, and service. But starting in his 40s, he started to talk about death and that his life is going to that his life is downhills from now, and and he lives like he's preparing for death, which is far from the truth. Charles feels helpless and motiveless, so he started gaining weight, started smoking again, and lives a sedentary lifestyle. Warning from doctors and encouragement from friends and families have no effect. Charles has trouble controlling his appetite as well as his outburst of negative emotions, such as using aggressive language. Um, his employees find it hard to work with him because of this. Charles is generally not very organized. However, in cleanliness standards, he has perfectionistic standards. He becomes impatient and uses verbal aggression when the standards are not met. It can sometimes get physical as well. Charles and his wife are business partners since he started his own company. When his wife challenges his decisions, he becomes very defensive. And after each dispute, he becomes very dejected and withdraws from reality by eating, smoking, or watching movies. According to Freud, Charles's personality can be explained in terms of anal or oral and phallic fixation, and defense mechanisms such as withdrawal, and denial. This is the consequence of growing up in a harsh, authoritarian home. His uncontrolled appetite, smoking, and increased dependence on his wife can be explained by oral fixation. People who are fixated on this stage need oral satisfaction that they did not get when they were young, or they got too much of, by eating, drinking, or smoking. And they also are overly dependent on others uh, as adults. It is most likely that his mother gave Charles excessive amounts of satisfaction during the first 18 months of Charles' life because she was very happy to get a son after two daughters. Charles' need for cleanliness, fear of losing control, and disorganized disposition can be attributed to anal fixation, which could have come from traumatic toilet training experiences. Charles shows signs of phallic fixation as well. This is likely caused by Oedipus complex, where he loves his mother, but because he fears being castrated by his father, um, if if he finds out that he likes his mother, so he internalizes his father's characteristics and became very strict and rigid as a result. Although his high ideals can help him with his social life by becoming a very sacrificial person, it also sets high standards for his employees, which can hurt them. And in defense mechanism, Charles also uses withdrawal, and because of his strong ego, he avoids situations he that will create undesirable impulses for his superego. Another defense mechanism that Charles uses is denial, and because when even if the fact is plain out there that he shouldn't eat a lot and he shouldn't smoke, he keeps doing it because he's oblivious to what he's doing. I think that the diagnosis is incomplete in that it does not take into any of does not take into account any of the events that happened to Charles other than his childhood to find reasons for his actions. I think that the reasons for Charles' action can be uncovered if more attention is given to the current situation Charles is in that might exacerbate his situation, such as moving to Europe when he first started showing these symptoms. Perhaps the lack of Korean friends around where he grew up might be an issue for Charles.